Who is Satan, the devil, and what is sin? In this video I hope to answer both of those questions. The enemy within human nature is the mind of the flesh, which is hostility against God. It is not subject to his law, neither indeed can it be. Romans chapter 8 and verse 7. The commandment of God is holy, just, and good, being so limited by the propensities which in purely animal men display themselves with uncontrolled violence, makes them appear in their true colours. These turbulent propensities the apostle styles sin in the flesh, of which it is full. Hence it is also termed as sinful flesh. This is human nature and the evil in it, made so apparent by the law of God. He personifies as a preeminent sinner. Romans chapter 7 verse 12, 13, 17 and 18. This is the accuser, adversary and calumniator of God, whose stronghold is the flesh. It is the devil and Satan within the human nature, so that when a man is tempted he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. If a man examine himself, he will perceive within him something at work, craving after things which the law of God forbids. The best of men are conscious of this enemy within them. It troubled the apostle so much that he proclaimed, O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? Romans chapter 7 and verse 24. Or this mortal body. He thanked God that the Lord Jesus Christ would do it, that it is as he had himself been delivered from it by God raising him from the dead by the Spirit. Romans chapter 8 and verse 11. So the Lord that dominates over all sinners from the days of Adam until this present day is sin, the incarnate accuser and adversary of the law of God, therefore styled the devil and Satan. So we see that the word sin is used in two major ways in the scriptures. It signifies in the first place the transgression of the law, and in the next it represents that physical principle of the animal nature which is the cause of it all its diseases, death and resolution into the dust. It is that in the flesh which has the power of death. Hebrews chapter 2 and verse 14. And it is called sin because the development or fixation of this evil in the flesh was the result of transgression, inasmuch as the evil principle pervades every part of the flesh. The animal nature is styled sinful flesh, that is, flesh full of sin, so that sin in the sacred style came to stand for the substance called man. In human nature dwells no good thing. Romans chapter 7 and verse 17 and 18. And all the evil a man does is the result of this principle dwelling in him, operating upon the brain. It excites the propensities, and these set the intellect and the sentiment to work. The propensities are blind, and so are the intellect and the sentiment in a purely natural state. When, therefore, the latter operate under the sole impulse of the propensities, the understanding is darkened through ignorance because of the blindness of the heart. Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 18. The nature of the lower animals is as full of this physical evil principle as the nature of man, though it cannot be styled sin with the same expression because it does not possess them as the result of their own transgression. The name, however, does not alter the nature of the thing. So therefore we can conclude that the word devil and the word sin are equivalent expressions, equal in value. Satan, the devil, is a personification of human nature. This is not an abstraction, but that physical principle of the animal nature which is the cause of all its disease, death and resolution into dust. It is that in the flesh which has the power of death, and it is called sin because of the development or fixation of this evil within the flesh was the result of transgression. Inasmuch as this evil principle pervades every part of the flesh, the animal nature is styled sinful flesh, that is, flesh full of sin, so that sin in the sacred style came to stand for the substance called man. In human flesh dwells no good thing, and all the evil a man does is the result of this principle dwelling in him.